Clerk, please call the order, or please call the roll.
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Ms. Conwell.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any public comments?
No, Madam Chair, no one submitted any public comment.
All right, committee, if you would please review the minutes from March 1st.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and seconded. Everyone approve the minutes, say aye.
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 Hearing no nays, minutes are approved. Thank you. Clerk, would you please read the matters referred to committee?
Resolution 2022-0053, confirming the county executive's appointment or reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga Community College Tri-C Board of Trustees for various terms.
Director Pomerantz, would you please give us an overview?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are pleased today to introduce Ted Twang for an unexpired term ending 1/16/2025, replacing John Scory, and also for the reappointment of Victor Ruiz for a 5-year term, beginning 1/18/2022 and expiring 1/17/2027. These are the appointments to the Cuyahoga Community College Tri-C Board of Trustees. And we also have Claire Rosato here, who can speak on behalf as she helps supports all the board members. And we'd ask you to consider these as a second reading suspension if possible.
Thank you. Thank you. And welcome, Claire Rosato. It's always good to have you here, and certainly a support to those that are being reappointed here today, appointed and reappointed. So Ted Twang, if you would
Madam
please.
Chair,
Yes.
may I ask a question to Ms. Pomerantz? If you could please give us a quick review of how many are on the Tri-C board and how they're appointed.
Absolutely. The Tri-C Board is comprised of 9 members, 6 appointed by the county executive, and 3 appointed by the governor of the state. Board members must be residents of the Cuyahoga Community College District, and they stipulate that the members shall serve a 5-year term and permits members to continue serving beyond the expiration until a successor takes office.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. Welcome. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Madam Chair. Is that better?
That's better.
Thank you very much for having me, Madam Chair, and to the other council members. It's an honor to be here. So I'm a transplant to Cleveland. I've been here about 6 years. I moved here from New York City. And one of the things I was most excited about coming here to work for originally the Cleveland Browns and now Haslam Sports Group, the Cleveland Browns and the Columbus Crew, was the opportunity to get involved in the community. And through the Haslams, their focus on education through the Cleveland Browns Foundation and economic development, I joined the Tri-C Foundation Board about 4 years ago, and it's really been an incredible experience serving on the Tri-C Foundation Board, primarily focused on, the funding aspect of the college and just learning a lot about the amazing work that the college does to support students in the region, equity, access, success, but also, much broader economic development. And so when Dr. Johnson, who we're all going to miss, of course, when he asked me to consider transitioning to the Tri-C Board of Trustees, it was an incredible honor, but I was also very excited about the opportunity to get even more involved and learn more about not just the funding side of things that the foundation does, but overall governance of the university and the direction forward, because I really believe this is such a critical time. Tri-C's always been so important and made such an impact, but especially now. Personally, I happen to be in one of my classmates, Doug Burns, you'll be considering later. We're in Leadership Cleveland right now together, and it's such an exciting time to be going through Leadership Cleveland, and Tri-C comes up a lot as one of the great engines of growth and for the region.
Thank you very much, and certainly we have a lot of respect for Tri-C and all the work that it does, and you'll be in good hands. Any questions for our guest today?
I'll take
Yes, go ahead.
Not more of a question,
Councilman Sweeney.
just to thank you. Coming from New York and jumping right in, and I did 2.5 years at Tri-C. That helped me give my little foundation before I went to CSU. without that, I don't know what I'd be doing today. Just keep up the great work, and watching your excitement is exactly what we need. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Really appreciate it.
I would agree with that. That 2-year foundation to allow students who aren't quite sure what they want to do yet and make up their minds in those 2 years is really a gift.
And being a part of the foundation board, it's been really exciting to hear a lot of stories like Councilman Sweeney's, who at the beginning of their career, gave them that jump start. And then we get exposed to a lot of students who they may not know it and appreciate it or understand it, but they're getting that jump start right now. And it's fun to, imagine what they're going to be doing in 10, 20, 30 years, largely because of their start at Tri-C.
Great, good. Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion then to support the appointment of Mr. Ted Taiwan?
So moved.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, we have one more person.
Do them both together?
Yes.
Got it. All right, we will have your appointment with your colleague.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, we do have also a reappointment for Mr. Victor Ruse, who is going to be joining us by Zoom.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry, I'm unable to start my video. So hopefully you can hear me. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for the flexibility allowing me to join by Zoom. Victor Ruiz, I'm the Executive Director of Esperanza. As many of you know, Esperanza is a 40-year-old organization in Cleveland's Hispanic community that provides educational support, opportunities, and access and advocacy for Cleveland's Hispanic community. Tri-C is one of our most important partners. Our relationship goes back over 30 years. Since many of our students, the first access into post-secondary education is to Tri-C. I've been on the board. This would be my 3rd term. Never imagined when I was first appointed I'd be here for these many terms, but the experience has been extremely rewarding. We've done amazing work together. And personally, I think Tri-C is one of the most important institutions in Northeast Ohio. I've been past chair. I've been chair of a management committee, investment committee, and I'm currently chairing the presidential search committee that, as was mentioned earlier, would hate to lose Dr. Johnson, but we know we're going to replace him with someone who can take the college further. Raised in Cleveland, born in Puerto Rico, came here as a child and have lived in Cleveland my whole life and have been part of our nonprofit landscape and have been very civically involved. So thank you for the opportunity.
Great, thank you, and thank you for making the opportunity to be here with us today. I know it was a long distance call. So any questions for our guest here today? All right, well, I know you mentioned this is a reappointment. So do you have any specific improvements that you would think are needed, given that you have the experience on the board? Is there anything you would really like to see done, outside of the search and things that you mentioned?
Thank you. Well, I mean, obviously, integrating a new president is going to be
Yes.
one of the most important jobs of the board. And I think the other thing that we're all working is really helping our region address the workforce needs. It really has to be all hands on deck, everyone working together. And Tri-C fills a really important gap here. Not gap, but Tri-C plays an important role in ensuring that individuals have the proper training and the relevant training to fill these opportunities that are available. So I think that's going to be Tri-C's focus and really important for everyone at the institution.
That's really good to hear, because we too agree with the importance of workforce training and getting our workforce the skills they need to fill the jobs that are out there. So thank you for that. All right, are there any other questions? Yes.
Through the
Councilwoman.
chair to Mr. Ruiz, when is Dr. Johnson stepping down? What is his official date?
End of June. So it's right around the corner. Dr. Johnson is committed to Northeast Ohio, so I know he will be available to help with the transition and anything else that he's needed.
And do you have any, through the chair, do you have any candidates so far? And are they local or out of state?
So I'm happy to report that we are down to final three. Not knowing what I'm able to share or not, I would just say that national with local connections is what we're looking at in terms of the finalist.
And then one other question in terms of, because we're also losing Metro. Is Metro Health and Tri-C in any type of partnerships?
Yeah, I believe that I know there's definitely strong partnerships around health careers. And I know that at the Metro campus, there's a really strong partnership as it relates to health careers.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Ruiz.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, as requested, we were asked for a second reading adoption. So I will make the motion to move this item to the full body of the council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules as amended.
So moved?
Second, Conwell.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays. Congratulations for both Ted Twang and Victor Ruiz joining Tri-C Board and reappointment.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please read the next given to our committee?
Resolution 2022-0054, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Nancy Mendez to serve on the Cuyahoga Arts and Culture Board of Trustees for the term April 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2025.
Thank you. And Director Pomerantz, would you please give us an overview?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The Cuyahoga Arts and Culture Board of Trustees is here today, and we have Jill Paulson here Jill Paulson here, who's here as a representative from that board. And we are nominating for reappointment to this board Nancy Mendez for a 3-year term beginning 4/1/2022 until 3/31/2025. This is a reappointment. Nancy currently resides in Cleveland. And the requirements for this board is that the members have broad knowledge and experience in the arts or cultural heritage, having at least 2 members be persons who devote a major portion of their time to practicing, performing, or teaching any of the arts, or who are professional administrators in any of the fields of the arts or cultural heritage, and shall be qualified electors at Cuyahoga County. I think you have a copy of Nancy Mendez's resume, and she is here to speak on her behalf, as well as Jill Paulson from Cuyahoga Arts and Culture.
Thank you. And certainly, Nancy Mendez, please come. And also would like to recognize Jill Paulson. If you'd like to come up or have any extra words to say, we certainly would appreciate that. Nancy, would you please give us some background?
Sure. First, Madam Chair, I'd like to thank you for your support for the $3.3 million of ARPA money that will go to support the arts in Cuyahoga County. Thank you so much to the council and to the executive as well. My name is Nancy Mendez. I am the current president and CEO of Starting Point. Starting Point is a 30-year organization that the founder, Billy Osborne Fears, passed away suddenly almost 2 years ago. And the Starting Point provides childcare referral, quality in childcare, out-of-school time, referrals as well as literacy programs, and we are continuing to build as well. I joined Starting Point about 9 months ago. Before that, I was at United Way of Greater Cleveland, where I served as the Vice President of Community Investment. I was there for 12 years. I currently also serve on the boards of the Gun Foundation. I'm Vice President of the Gun Foundation, also the LGBT Center and Jumpstart.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful background, very broad, and certainly understand why you are a good member of this Arts and Culture Board and would like to see you continue. Is there any questions for our guests today?
I'll take a couple.
All right, go right ahead, Councilman Sweeney.
Madam Chairwoman, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me about the arts and culture. And just on a procedural note, you're thanking us for your dollars. It still has to make it through council. However, I'm quite confident it will.
That's wonderful to hear, Councilman. Thank you.
And I've had a association with the arts and culture since its inception, and just watching the journey intimately for a while, but then from afar. Now I'm back here, so just tell me how you think it's going, because it was a journey to this point. I think it's very strong now, but can you give me your perspective from the board?
Sure. It's been incredible experience to serve this past 3 years because it has been a time of change, but I believe very positive change. We understood that we, as a community, as the arts community, needed to come together. We helped with creation of an umbrella organization called Assembly, but we also understand the role of CAC, and we take it very, very seriously, that we are the arm that must be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars and get those dollars to arts organizations and art-serving community so that it really enhances our community. As someone who's not an individual artist, I have seen the importance of art in everything from out-of-school time programs to a vehicle to get someone from not being interested in education to actually going to college. I see it as a voice for people who maybe not understand each other, but they can understand and touch each other through art. So it's been an incredible journey and pleasure, and I've grown as an advocate and understanding of the arts and the role, the critical role it plays in everything from connecting human beings to each other to our economy. And I just want to continue to be in any way part of making the arts a critical component of Cuyahoga County.
And thank you. Madam Chair, one more?
Oh, right ahead, sure.
I'm confident and excited that you're on the board. And what you said, it's changed a little bit, but you believe it's changed in the positive. And when you mentioned your awards and recognition, you failed to recognize the Distinguished Alumni Award from St. Mark Preparatory School.
Oh, yes. I'm
St. Mark
surprised.
Lion?
You are from St. Mark's?
I'm St. Mel's, right next to you. Guys were a little high. I married up. I married a St. Mark Lion.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I was fortunate enough, I was attending CMSD schools and was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship. I was attending Luis Munoz Marin in Clark Fulton area and received a scholarship to attend a pretty decent boarding school in outside of Boston. And last fall, I received an award for Distinguished Alumni.
That is awesome. I'm thinking St. Mark over in West Park.
No, sir, it's outside of Boston, one of the old boarding schools of New England.
That's incredible. To go from public school, Cleveland is a great school. Like, that's wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Councilwoman.
Through the chair to Ms. Mendez. Number one, if you could leave the clerk your business card for starting point, I'd appreciate it. And my question would be, if arts and culture is granted funds from ARPA, will you provide a breakdown of how the funds will be utilized? And that might be a question for Jill, I don't know.
And Jill obviously could give a bit more detail, but what we would like to do is to split the dollars 50-50, 50% to Assembly that would concentrate on public art and artists, and we would take 50% of the dollars and concentrate on nonprofits, funding small nonprofits and large nonprofits. We want to help all sectors of the art, in everything from individuals to small business, entrepreneurs, as well as our very incredible institutions that serve as a beacon to folks to come and visit Cleveland. So we would be stewarding 50% of the dollars. Anything to add, Jill?
Thank you, Nancy. Councilwoman Conwell, and again, I come to you as a resident of District 7. Indeed, as Nancy mentioned, we're looking at an allocation with our partners at Assembly, again, pending formal approval by council, where CAC would distribute the $1.65 million to a variety of arts organizations all throughout the county, from the smallest entities to those largest organizations, again, with our focus on equity and a hope that we would be able to reach as many organizations as possible.
Okay, will we be able to see that in writing, what that comes out to be? I know you guys have to sit at the board and all that, and
Yes, we'll be bringing to the board at our upcoming meeting a request at the recommendation of Director Paul Hertig that we ask for our board at CAC to accept the dollars, again, pending approval. And then from there, we would issue grant guidelines, so all organizations would be able to determine if they're interested in a fit. I will say our team who focuses on nonprofits really has our pulse on the sector, the community, and we do a lot of very formal and informal outreach to make sure that we're getting this money to the organizations. Our goal is to be the pass-through and to make it as easy as possible for the organizations.
And I don't remember if Michelle, I know there's 5 members on the board. What does that break down in terms of gender?
So we are a board of 5 women right now. Nancy as our current vice chair. Michelle Scott Taylor as our secretary, Carolyn Eisenhart as our newest member, Janita McGowan as another member, and then our current chair, Charna Sherman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to know. Any other questions? All right, then. Also, this was asked for a second reading adoption. So I will make the motion to move this item, reappointing Nancy Mendez, to the full board of the council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules as amended. Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing no nays, this motion has been adopted. Thank you. Good luck. All right, madam, would you please read the next item given to our committee?
Resolution 2022-0055, confirming the county executive's appointment of various mayors to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, representing various regions for the term January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2024.
Director Pomerantz, would you please give us an overview?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. These are for the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, and on behalf of County Executive Armin Budish, we're pleased to nominate the following individuals for this appointment. Mayor Edward Orcott for Southwest Region for a 3-year term beginning 1/1/2022 and extending to 12/31/2024. And then also Mayor of Cleveland, Mayor Justin Bibb for the Cleveland region, 3-year term 1/1/22 to 12/31/2024. Mayor Orcott is from Brook Park and will be replacing former Mayor Michael DiGamella. Mayor Bibb resides in Cleveland, and he will be replacing former Mayor Frank G. Jackson. The Director of the Planning Commission, Mary Serby, is here also to answer any questions you may have. And Mayor Orcott is here in person, and I believe Mayor Bibb has submitted a letter.
Thank you. That's good to have. And, you know, before we get started, Mayor Bibb is not able to be here today, but certainly a member that we encourage to be on this Planning Commission. But I will read his letter of asking for this appointment. He says, please accept my apology for not being able to attend the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee today in person. I'm excited to express my desire to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. As mayor, my participation in the commission might potentially add value to help inform long-term planning, economic development, and strengthen regional collaboration. I welcome the opportunity to serve on the commission and appreciate your consideration of my appointment. This was sent on March 29th, 2022, signed by Justin M. Bibb, Mayor of Cleveland. So I will accept that letter as recognition of that appointment. But we do have here today also Mayor Edward Orcott. Would he please come forward? Welcome, Mr. Orcott.
Good morning.
Let us know a little bit of your background.
Okay, absolutely. Well, first, I'd like to say thank you to this committee. And Madam Chairman Baker, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Edward Orcott. I am the mayor of Brook Park. A little bit of my background. I'm a former military personnel with the United States Navy. I served with the combat engineers for 6 years. After that, I do possess a mechanical engineering background. I've worked with the company Carrier as a project manager and also in sales with them. I did that through the local 120 pipe fitters here in Cleveland. I've also served 4 years in for the Planning Commission in the city of Brook Park. I've had 4 years, the honor of 4 years of serving as a councilman in the city of Brook Park, and now as the mayor of Brook Park for the last 3 months. I also have the honor of being the chairman of our Planning Commission there as well.
Thank you very much. Any questions for our guest today?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair, to Mayor Orcott, I'd like to thank you for your willingness to serve on the Planning Commission. I know that the redevelopment of the old Ford plant and the Aerozone Alliance, which you have quickly become active upon, give you an excellent opportunity to have a handle on very important planning directions for Cuyahoga County's future, and I believe you're going to be a tremendous asset to the commission and support your nomination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Councilman Sweeney?
Thank you. I just want to say congratulations to being elected. We had our paths cross as your council person. And can you tell that Dale's your council person?
Absolutely, I can. Through the chair to Councilman Miller, I just want to say thank you very much for your help as well. You've been extremely aggressive and been out there with us over the last few months, and I really do appreciate all of your help with everything that we do have for the redevelopment of Brook Park.
Good to know. Good. Any other questions? All right. This was also asked for a second reading suspension, so I will make the motion to move this item, appointing the Honorable Mayor Justin Bibb and Mayor Edward Orcott to the full body of the council for second reading suspension and just suspension of the rules for the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission appointments.
Second.
Second. Did I hear a second? Seconded by Councilman Gallagher. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing any nays? Hearing none. Both appointments have been approved.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
for your
day.
service.
Thank you.
All right, clerk, would you please read the next resolution given to our committee?
Resolution 2022-0056, confirming the county executive's reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation Board of Trustees for the term January 2nd, 2022 to January 1st, 2025.
Thank you. May we have an overview from Director Pomerantz?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of the county executive, we are pleased to introduce these 3 reappointments. Brian Hall for a 3-year term, 1/2/2022 to 1/1/2025. Michael Obie for a 3-year term, 1/2/22 to 1/1/2025. And Anthony Tavrell, 3-year term, 1/2/2022 to 1/1/2025. The Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation was incorporated in 1982 for the sole purpose of advancing, encouraging, and promoting the industrial, economic, commercial, and civic development of Cuyahoga County. The corporation serves as Cuyahoga County's review agent for industrial revenue bond financing and economic development lending activity. Members of the board shall serve a 3-year term, and Michael May from the Department of Development is here also and supports the board, so there's any questions that you may have. I'm also pleased to say that all 3 of these reappointments are here in person today and can speak on behalf of their desire to continue to serve.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. May we see, please come forward, Mr. Brian Hall. Welcome, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And it's a pleasure to be before you all again. And I'm honored and humbled to be asked to serve another term on the CCIC board. We've had I think a great experience of evaluating the transactions that come to us from the Department of Development. I think I can speak for all of my fellow members that we've been thorough in our evaluation of those transactions and look forward to more in the future that help our county grow and prosper. I am a native Clevelander. I've been in business for most of my life, but the last 8 years I've also been working at the Greater Cleveland Partnership, where I lead our Equity and Inclusion Division, and I bring to the council my interest in making sure that the funds that we approve help impact all of our citizens in the region, and not just a select few.
Thank you. Good to know. Any questions for our guest, Mr. Hall? Yes, Councilman.
Hello, Councilman.
Excuse me, Mr. Sweeney, your microphone.
Hello, Mr. Hall.
Hello.
With your diversity and equity over in the partnership, how are we doing in Cuyahoga County? Because I know it's been a focus of this council prior to me getting here and continues, and I'm hoping we're making strides. Can I ask you that? Is that?
Yeah, there's a long answer to that question. I'll give you
Take the short
I'll give you the short one. We are making strides. We have a ways to go until we can see better equity for everybody in our region. It's just a matter that we're all going to have to keep working on. As one of my board members says, it's a marathon and not a sprint.
Thank you. And through the chair, I mean, with your background and very specifically where you're at right now, you bring a perspective that is very unique because you're knee-deep and you always have been.
Thank you.
So I'm very thankful that you're going to continue, and I know we're in good hands. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Yes,
Madam Chair.
Councilman. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair, to Mr. Hall, I would just like to also say that your background and experience in working for equity and inclusion has been long, diligent, and effective, and that your presence on this Community Investment Improvement Board will help ensure that we pursue these projects in a diverse and equitable manner, and I strongly support your reappointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Miller.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If we may bring up Mr. Michael Olbe. Hello and welcome.
Here.
Please let us know a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Michael Obi, former banker with Key Bank for about over 10 years. I was senior vice president. I've done corporate banking, retail, and strategy. I left banking in 2007 and started my own company here in Cleveland. We own Little Caesar Pizza franchise, and we do economic development consulting work. Over the past 10 years or so, I partnered with the Urban League, and I had the Urban League economic development work. I helped to launch the Entrepreneurship Center at the Urban League. And most recently, we launched a venture capital fund that I manage. I'm the CEO of that fund. I've been on this, but I think this will be my third term. So we're adding value, like Brian Hall said. We bring different perspective. I'm the banker in the room, plus other people from with financial background, but I also bring the element of inclusion as well, because we believe that a lot of these projects needs to be inclusive in creating jobs and during the construction to post-construction. So it's been fun, and I would like to continue.
That's really good to hear, and we appreciate your work. Any questions for Mr. Obi? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate your willingness. And also then, Mr. Anthony Tavrell, would you please come forward? Thank you for your interest in this position.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair. Happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to be in front of the committee today. Appreciate and honored to be asked to be serving another term on the committee. This would be my second term on CCCIC. And a little background about myself. I native Clevelander, grew up actually in the Brecksville, Broadview Heights area, and went to school at Akron, and been in Cleveland my whole life, including some time I spent living downtown. My career has been in commercial financing, almost 20 years now. My first job out of school was with Fifth Third Bank here in Cleveland, which I was there for about 13 years, and just moved to Key Bank about 5 years ago and served as senior vice president of the real estate group there. So I feel I'm able to bring a unique experience and background to the committee when evaluating opportunities along with the other board members relating to financial needs and such of the community.
Right, good. Well, thank you. We appreciate your willingness to continue. Yes, Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just more curiosity just came to mind while you're making your presentation. How often do you meet? And is there a lot of agenda items when you meet? Is it 5? Is it 20? Just so I get a perspective. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
so I think it's primarily on a need basis. Maybe once a month, I think there's a scheduled meeting, and depending if there's an actual opportunity to consider, we will meet or not meet if there is one. And then I think as far as an agenda, there could be anywhere from one opportunity up to several in a given meeting.
Yeah, this is just more curiosity.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
holding
so
your
it
feet
just
to the
really all
fire.
depends. I think we've had as many as 3 projects at one meeting.
Madam Chair,
Please pronounce your.
Michael May, Economic Development Administrator for the Department of Development. I'm right now serving as basically logistical board secretary for the organization and for the corporation. There's actually a set timetable for our board meetings, and they actually come down to the second Wednesday of every month. They're public meetings, and they basically happen if we have loans to bring to the board or on occasion where there are business matters to be done, because again, it is a corporation. So it really boils down to kind of one loan or possibly 2 loans a month that comes before this body. And again, just to reiterate, this is a loan underwriting body first and foremost. Their job is to, once we, the department, have assembled a project or a deal, if you will, and put together the ins and outs of the financial sort of viability of the deal, and that it fits with our programs, that then brings the deal to the board, which functions as a loan committee, like a bank loan committee. And again, in that it's populated with all kinds of, basically we have great expertise on this board, bankers, lawyers, financial experts. We have people from the county, various departments of the county. So that's their primary job, is to underwrite these loans, or at least oversee them based on the work that we've done, to see if, number one, the project needs our money. Number 2, it is going to create jobs according to formulaic estimates that we have, and then we hold them to that. It's going to produce tax revenue. And then we, most importantly, we're going to get paid back. So the key job of this group is to look at the viability of the loan actually coming back into our coffers, into our revolving loan fund. So that's kind of a long-winded answer to how often they meet, but that's basically a once a month.
Madam Chairwoman, just thank you for the, not even in depth, but a Cliff Note version for me.
Excuse me, Mr. Sweeney, can you speak into the microphone, please?
I should know how to do this by now. But thank you for explaining it to me. And I think my perspective right now is we on council and the administration need to do a little bit more work to get you more loans to be able to keep driving the city's economic development opportunities. So,
Yes, absolutely. And now I will say a crimp was put into our stride with the pandemic and with sort of the reduction of activity. A lot of our efforts were spent actually over the last 2 years. And that's what's so great about this revolving loan fund. We are able to provide monies to various endeavors, whether it was the stabilization fund or it was other aspects of saving businesses when they were in dire straits, to sort of work on that front. So a lot of activity took place and a lot of success in just sort of assisting businesses in a real sort of crisis. We're out of that crisis now for all intents and purposes, and we're back sort of on our beam of doing traditional, if you will, economic development lending. And so we really do expect the volume to pick up now. And again, we've only got so much money in the fund. We try to do about $10 million a year of lending, which again leverages so much more because we're a gap financier. So we're doing the last piece.
thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you for the
Thank you.
flexibility. And Anthony, I apologize for taking your moment.
Oh,
Getting a
no,
lesson
no.
here. This is actually about you, so thank you.
No, very much appreciate it. Thanks, Mike. for joining.
You know, in hearing all of that, it seems timely to ask that question about the pandemic, and now that we are moving forward and we're looking in the rearview mirror at what it is that we endured. Is there any, and this is for any three of the candidates today, any lasting impact, do you think, of the COVID pandemic that will affect our local economy and even future development? Do you see any issues there that will lag from what we experienced back in 2019?
Yeah, I think one thing that the aspect that the jury is still out on would be kind of how the office community comes back. So clearly the pandemic forced a lot of folks to work from home, and a lot of companies that may have been adverse to that in the past were forced to let their employees do that just for safety concerns. So I think, over a 2-year period of time, companies continue to operate efficiently and profitably. And so a lot of thought now is given at the corporate real estate level as to how much office space companies will need and how many of their employees need to be in the office on a full or part-time basis. So I think that inevitably will, again, the jury's still out on how many, folks return back to the office, how much office space may be affected by that, which of course would affect a place like downtown, given the large amount of office space here.
That's a good point. Good question. Good answer. Any other questions for our guest? All right, this also was asked to be a second reading adoption, so I will make the motion to move this item, reappointing Mr. Brian Hall, Mr. Michael Obie, and Mr. Anthony Tavrell to the Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation Board, to the full body of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules as amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of these appointments, please say aye.
Aye.
None? Congratulations to all three of you. You are now reappointed. We appreciate
Madam
it.
Chair, thank you, committee.
All right, Madam Clerk, please read the next item given to this committee.
Resolution 2022-0068, confirming the county executive's appointment of Sarah Parks Jackson to serve on the Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation Board of Trustees for the term October 16, 2020 to October 15, 2023.
Director Pomerantz, please give us an overview.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the same committee, and the reason that there's two pieces of legislation was one was introduced at the last council meeting and one came forth this council meeting. So I just want to make sure you knew that. And we are pleased to introduce for an appointment our current Deputy Director, Housing and Community Development Director, Sarah Parks Jackson, for the term beginning 10/16/2020 and ending 10/15/2023. Sarah will be replacing Khalil Seren, who had served on that committee previously. And she is here to speak on her behalf on willingness to serve.
Great.
Can I ask a question, Michelle?
Yes, go right ahead,
Through the
Councilman.
chair to Ms. Pomerantz. Okay, you stated that Sarah is replacing Khalil. Was Khalil looked upon as a county council representative to fulfill that seat?
He was representing, there's different kinds of regular class versus county class on this board. And Khalil, before he was running for office, was serving in that space. On that county class. So it took us a little bit of time to kind of catch up and get somebody to replace him. And we wanted to make sure that Sarah had that opportunity to replace Khalil in that county class.
Okay, is there any county council representative on the CIC board?
There is not. When Khalil did decide to run for office, we brought that up, and it's not a requirement to have a county council representative. I think it was brought up as a suggestion, and at the time, I think there was a little bit, it was during COVID, so I think that there were a little fewer staff members, so I'm not sure if that was the reason why, but we wanted to check in with Sarah at that point.
And at the board meetings, is there any deterrence or anything that a county council staff can't sit in on the meetings?
I believe that there are portions of the meeting that are public, and then there are portions when we decide what to do about the loan. Those go into executive session, but no, that they're open meetings.
Through the chair, Councilwoman, these are public meetings, number one, so they're publicly advertised and they are on YouTube. Anybody is welcome to sit in on our meetings. County council staff, occasionally a council person, have come to our meetings before in the past, so there's absolutely no prohibition to do something like that. And in terms of the county class, again, it's very broadly the breakdown of the two categories of board members. There's a private sector class and there's a county class, and that's the labeling. It's county class. So basically, there are no slots for, say, county council or any other department. It's simply a county sort of moniker that's put on the appointees that are in that section. So it just happens that this is the makeup of the board thus far. It's populated by, again, the county executive sort of looks over the landscape of the candidates and the people that might make sense.
I was unaware of that, so I just know Khalil sat on there, and
yes,
we had
great
kind
board
of an
member.
insight, and he was a policy development person. So okay.
We absolutely encourage attendance, and it's again, we can actually expand that, but I know it's a known quantity that when the board meets, we do a public notice, and it's well known by council, certainly staff, that the meeting is to take place, and they have availed themselves of coming to the meeting and sort of being aware if they want to hear firsthand a particular loan or anything that's on our agenda.
Through the chair, to answer Councilwoman Conwell's question, I just got a message from the law director stating that the CCCIC board can invite a council staff to the executive session as well. And we did ask and check in with council chief of staff at the time when Khalil was running if there was somebody that they would recommend from council staff. But I believe at the time this was back in 2020. Due to COVID, due to a lot of other things that were happening, we did not get a name to put forward, and most likely due to the fact that council staff as well as the council people that are, or the county people that are on the board can work more so closely together, and the fact that these loans do go through council committee hearings, I felt that perhaps that was the reason why they did not select a council staff member to represent.
Okay, thank you for that explanation.
Just on that point?
Yes,
that-
Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you,
Yes.
Madam Chairwoman. You used the word invite. You said the chair could invite a council person through the law director. Invite is maybe they can come along. Can council say, I'd like to come along, instead of having to be invited? We can get that question answered later, but
I think we would check with the law director, because he did not text me that part of it, and he used the word, I would imagine, maybe Sarah
It's a
would
small
know.
technicality through the chair, but I'd like to know what I like things tight, so.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go right ahead.
Just to, again, make clear, what we're talking about are, there's the public meeting, and then there is the ability and requirement to go into executive session on proprietary, sort of, unpublic matters and discussion. That happens at board members. They actually have to vote to go into executive session. It's actually the chairman's prerogative and the board's prerogative to invite anybody into that executive session.
Thank you for the
So
clarification.
that's the mechanics of
That's all I
how
needed
that
to
would
know.
work. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Yeah, that is good to know. All right. Well, then we may proceed and welcome Director Sarah Parks Jackson. Of course, we are all familiar with you and your good work, and good to see that you are here and wanting to be appointed to this Community Improvement Corporation Board. So please tell us a little bit about what you think your role will be in this position.
Morning, Madam Chair and committee, and may I say I am humbled that I have been asked to serve in a seat once held by Khalil, Mayor Sarin. So I'm very excited to move into a role where I can be of benefit to the CCCIC upon my return to Cleveland a long time ago. I began my public service career actually with the city of Cleveland in the Department of Economic Development under Joe Marinucci. We had a small business office. So that became my introduction to economic development, my reintroduction to my hometown of the city of Cleveland and the needs that existed. From there, I became a member of Cuyahoga County's Department of Development. And upon arrival here, I was asked to have direct oversight of the private activity bonds that the county issues that have to be approved by the Cuyahoga Community Improvement Corporation. So I have presented to this body on more than one occasion for bond deals and also some larger affordable housing projects that just on the abundance of caution, we took to CIC to have independent body give us some input and approval. So I believe my knowledge of affordable housing as well as my ability to analyze and underwrite loans for residential and community development projects will be an asset to this board, especially when reviewing mixed-use projects which have a residential component. I am a past fellow in the CSU Public Officials Leadership Academy. I was in class 17. I'm an economic development finance professional through the National Development Council and a Lean Six Sigma champion and yellow belt through Tri-C.
Very good. Just, that is a remarkable background. Any questions for our guest? No, the only question, I'm just curious because I'm wondering what role you believe the county class and the private class members of this body should play, and what are their differences, if you can explain that.
I think for me, having interacted with the CIC, the county class and the business class, if you will, learn from each other. We learn what the business community and the members that serve on CIC, what they're looking for versus what, from a government standpoint, what our regulations are and what we can and cannot do. And I think that combination also helps to move projects forward from the input that people can provide around the necessity, around what's going on with the real estate market, what's going on with the business community. It's also insightful as to additional needs that, as a member of the Department of Development, I will say that maybe we need to address, and we may need to bring back to this body as a whole, or the Community Development Committee of this body, because there's issues that come up during those meetings that cannot be addressed by the CSC.
Do you ever find where they're in conflict, that there's just not agreement, or are we able to always find common ground and work through?
I haven't sat in on every meeting they've had, but the ones I have sat in on, there's been times where there's been robust conversation.
So?
But at the end of the day, always able to resolve the issues and come to a concurrence for the benefit of the company that is being reviewed at that time.
Good to know that you have an interest in being there, and I'm sure you will also help in that when those issues come up. Any other questions? No. All right. Well, this was also requested to be second reading adoption, so I will make a motion to move this item to appoint Director Sarah Parks Jackson to the Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation Board to the full body of the council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules as amended. Do I have a second?
Second, Sweeney.
Hearing a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Hearing none. Congratulations, Director. You are now appointed to this Community Improvement Corporation. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, would you please read the next item brought to this board?
Resolution 2022-0069, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Alan Davies to serve on the Cuyahoga County Public Library Board of Trustees for the term April 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2029.
Thank you. Director Pomerantz, please give us an overview.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of County Executive Budish, we are pleased to introduce the reappointment of Alan Davies for a 7-year term beginning 4/1/2022 and ending 3/31/2029. Ms. Davies resides in Broadview Heights and is a confirmed elector of Cuyahoga County. The Cuyahoga County Public Library serves 47 communities, and its mission is to be at the center of community life by creating an environment where lifelong learning, and civic engagement thrive. Executive Director Tracy Struble from the Cuyahoga County Public Library is also here to help support any questions you may have.
Thank you. Would Ellen Davies please come forward?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councilman Miller.
Ms. Pomerantz, how many serve on the board and how are they appointed?
I believe they're all, let me check with Tracy there. I believe they're all appointed. The Court of Common Pleas appoints 3, and the county executive appoints the other 4, 7 total.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you and welcome. Please give us an overview of who you are and.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the County Council. I'm Alan Davies. I am requesting reappointment to the Cuyahoga County Public Library Board of Trustees. I've been serving on this library board since June of 2019 when I was appointed to fulfill the unexpired term of a board member who had resigned from the board. I'm also a member of the Cuyahoga County Public Library Foundation Board for 10 years, and the mission of that board is to raise funds to support the mission of the library. Participating on both of these boards have provided me with the opportunity to learn about the library, how it works, and its opportunities and challenges. I'm always amazed when I talk with people and they think that the library is a place to get books. Well, absolutely it is. That's the core business of the library, but it's so much more. They provide so many services to the community. The library identifies a need and then they pivot to try to find a way to meet the need. So the third graders aren't passing their standardized reading tests. Well, let's develop a program called 1, 2, 3 Read and help those kids pass the reading test. Or kids are struggling in school while we develop the homework centers. We have benefits navigation, computer training skills, adult literacy programs, too many to name. I'm sure I'll leave one out. I'm an avid reader and a supporter of the library. My husband and I own a business in Independence. I'm a retired nurse from Metro Health. And we've been philanthropic leaders in many organizations in Cleveland. I look forward to representing the community's interests while promoting the highest level of library services. The library's mission is to be at the center of community life by empowering individuals and communities with the opportunity for all to read, learn, create, and connect. It would be an honor to continue to serve as a member in the furtherance of this important mission.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Ms. Davies? Yes, Councilman Sweeney.
I'm taking half of Mike Gallagher's because he has a sore throat today. Madam Chairwoman, Tracy, how are you? Congratulations on doing wonderful work. How proud are you, or proud is probably the right word, of being on this board?
Because of the leading library system in the nation for
in the nation, and
12 years.
You're world recognized. I mean, it's got to feel good that the leadership here, but
Absolutely.
you have the governance responsibilities.
Stellar leadership, stellar staff. And I'm going to put in a plug for the 100th anniversary of the library, which we'll be celebrating in November.
I have a tough question
Lots
for
to
you.
be proud of.
How do you think your new chairman's going to do, Mr.
I think Dean's going to do just great.
Just tell him I gave him a little shout out. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, just a quick question. Revenues are always challenging, especially for libraries. How are your revenues holding up?
They're holding it pretty well. You know, the Cuyahoga County residents voted just a year ago for a 1 mil levy. So definitely demonstrates the support of the community for the library. But we also have a very strong advancement or development office that reaches out to funders and applies for grants. And we have a very generous community that appreciate what we do and help to fund some of those programs. So fingers crossed, hopefully everything will be great going forward.
Do you have any capital projects coming up?
Well, as a matter of fact, we're going to cut the ribbon on the new Bay Village branch.
Very good. I'll be there for that.
30th.
Oh, that was a softball.
That is a project that we have been waiting for, and it's been quite a road to bring it to the day of ribbon cutting. So
Beautiful building.
it is, yeah, very nice. Look forward to that. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, this was also asked for a second reading adoption. So I will make the motion to reappoint Alan Davies to serve on the Cuyahoga County Public Library Board of Trustees for the full term, for the full body of the council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? None? Congratulations, and thank you for your continued service.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please read the next resolution to our committee?
Resolution 2022-0070, confirming the county executive's appointment and reappointments of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Advisory Board on Senior and Adult Services for various terms.
Director Pomerantz, please give us an overview.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Cuyahoga County Advisory Board on Senior Adult Services has two reappointments today and 5 new appointments to consider. Director Tracy Mason is here also to speak on behalf of the board, and I'd like to introduce the reappointments. Cheryl Braddis for a 3-year term beginning 1/1/2022, expiring 12/31/2024. And Ashley Morrissey, 3-year term 1/1/22, expiring 12/31/2024. These are our reappointments. And our new appointments include Douglas Bennett for an expired term ending 12/31/2023, replacing Mark Batson. Chris Hall, a 3-year term, replacing Doug Beach. Jennifer Kahns, a 3-year term, replacing Alan Bedingfield. Heidi Loom for a 3-year term, replacing Susan Wong. And Emily Lungard for a 3-year term, filling a vacancy that hasn't previously been filled. Ms. Mason is going to speak on behalf of Emily Lungard and Cheryl Braddis, who couldn't be here today. But we're pleased that Ashley Morrissey, Douglas Bennett, Chris Hall, Jennifer Kahns, and Heidi Loom could be here today to talk on their behalf.
Great, thank you very much. And of course, welcome Tracy Mason. You've done outstanding service, so thank you for that. I think first we will bring up Mr. Douglas Bennett. Welcome, and give us a little background on yourself.
It's good to see many of you that I know. My name is Douglas Bennett, and I currently serve as the Vice President of Community Services and External Affairs for an organization called Step Forward, formerly CEOGC. We are the largest community action agency in the state of Ohio. We currently have about 400 and some odd employees throughout Cuyahoga County, and we serve approximately 20,000 Cuyahoga County residents every year. The reason why this board appointment is very important to me is, one, we have a partnership with OOD as well as our Home Energy Assistance Program, which many seniors use. We've actually already had conversations with Mayor Kim Thomas about doing an event out in her area. So this board obviously is already bearing fruit. I am a lifelong Northeast Ohio resident, other than 5 years in Washington, D.C. I've been doing government and community affairs for almost 20 plus years. I currently live in the city of Cleveland in the Gordon Square Arts District. I believe that's District 7. Both Councilman Sweeney and Councilwoman Conwell can fight over that area. Again, happy and honored to be appointed, or hopefully be appointed, to fill out my colleague Mark Batson's, or former colleague Mark Batson's, unexpired term.
Very good, thank you, and thank you for your willingness to be appointed. Councilman Miller.
Yes, Madam Chair, to Mr. Bennett, congratulations on your recommendation for appointment.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering if you can shed any light on the reason why the Center for Economic Opportunities changed its name after so many years. When I hear Step Forward, I have to think, what is that? I still haven't completely gotten used to it. So can you help on that?
Absolutely. One, the Council for Economic Opportunities in Greater Cleveland is a mouthful, and it took a long time for people to actually say it. So that's one of the reasons for the rebranding. And honestly, part of that is we're bringing this organization into a new era. We are a 50-year-old organization, and the council at that point in time and the name may have been necessary at that point in time, but because of what we do, and it's an interesting dynamic to your point, Councilman. Again, a lot of people knew CEOGC, but nobody knew exactly what we did. So we are really trying to do a rebrand so people understand that we're one organization that helps people move forward in their lives, that we help bring people to sustainability. So you're right, Step Forward is a new animal for a lot of people, but we hope through the work that we do, people will start to understand what the organization is truly about.
Good, thank you. Any other? Good. Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you. Is Jacqueline still there?
She is still our CEO, yes.
Can you tell her I said hi and miss her?
Yeah, I will certainly do that. Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. I was also asked that this be for second reading adoption, so I will make the motion.
Excuse me, Madam Chair,
I'm
we should do them all together.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so thank you for your testimony, and we will ask we'll ask Chris Hall to come forward.
Thank you.
Welcome. Please give us a little background on yourself.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Christopher Hall. I've worked for Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging for the last 18 years. We have a very similar mission to what DSAS has and have worked closely with Tracy Mason and others over at DSAS for multiple years. Most recently, during the pandemic, we partnered with them to do a program called Circle of Food, which provided at least 50,000 meals to needy citizens in Cuyahoga County. Also, Western Reserve during the pandemic started a restaurant voucher program in East Cleveland that not only served 1,000 meals a day during the pandemic, but also employed various restaurant workers who were unemployed because of the pandemic. So very, very in tune with the needs of some of our most vulnerable individuals in the community. And it's been my lifelong mission to help them in any way I can.
Wonderful. That's good background. Any questions for our guest today? Given your background and what you have already accomplished and now being appointed, what specific objectives? Is there anything that you haven't done that you would really like to now that you're going to be on the advisory board?
Actually, I'm not sure if you know this, but Cuyahoga County is starting their age-friendly designation through AARP, and I am going to be on that committee if I'm appointed, and I'm really looking forward to adding my expertise to that as well as learning from everybody.
Wonderful. That's good to know. Well, thank you very much for your testimony. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
If we may now bring up Jennifer Kahns, as she's here today. Great. Welcome, Jennifer. Come and give us a little background on yourself.
Great. Well, thanks for having me this morning. My name's Jen Kahns. It's an honor to be here with you today. I grew up in Parma, Ohio. I currently live in Cleveland in the Edgewater neighborhood. And I've worked in the nonprofit sector for over 15 years, really at the intersection of health and social services. and a lot of experience witnessing or leading programs related to older adults and folks with disabilities that I hope to apply to in service to DSAS. When I lived in Chicago, I worked with ethnic community-based organizations across the state, and many of them served specifically older adults in their communities and helped them to continue to live in place in a way that uplifted them and their communities. Provided congregate meals, ESL and citizenship classes, as well as just a space to be who they were. Here in Cleveland, I had the pleasure of working at a community health center where we had clinics in and around senior buildings, and again, provided a lifeline to older adults to help them age in their communities with dignity. I currently work at United Way of Greater Cleveland, where I lead, I'm our Director of Health Initiatives, and that includes addressing food insecurity and social isolation for older adults. My work really centers around the concept of social determinants of health, which is very exciting that DSAS has also taken up that banner. I think that folks that work with older adults have always had to wear those two hats, thinking about health and social needs, and I think it's very fitting that DSAS is championing that. On a more personal note, my family has also been touched by mental and physical disabilities, so I'm excited to give back to the community in that way.
Wonderful, and as others, very impressive background. Do we have any questions for our guest? Yes, Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. You're stuck with me as your council.
Yes. It's a pleasure to be in your district.
It's our district, but thank you for,
Yes.
you seemed a little nervous, but you shouldn't be nervous at all.
Well, this is my first appointment, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, well, I just want to say, the way your passion just oozes out of you and your care, you're just a perfect fit for this. And I can't thank you enough for joining the team here. And as a council person, as a council, you're there driving your mission with your teammates. But if you ever get stuck or you want something, a little extra oomph, because we got the magic pins a little bit, without any disrespect, and I just want to make sure that your mission, I'm available to help in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Yes, Councilwoman.
Through the chair, my question is to Michelle. How many serve on this? I thought it was a big number that's on the...
It is a big number. I'm going to look
wanna
for
say
a
30.
lifeline to Maridel and Tracy. 24.
Okay.
I guess my question is, are they all, how many are allowed to serve Maridel?
Excuse me, Maridel, can you come up to the podium? Excuse me, Maridel. Thank you.
Welcome, please state your full name.
My name is Maridel Couture. I'm with the Department of Senior and Adult Services.
Welcome.
Thank you for this opportunity to tell you that we have a capacity of 25 on our advisory board.
And so these are just the terms that are up, because, I'm missing many of faces that I'm used to seeing in the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We've had people, we have, usually people stay on for the 2 consecutive terms that they can, and so these are replacements.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for our guest? Given your background, which is very impressive in community service, is there any specific objective, as I asked your last colleague, that you would like to see now, knowing that you're going to be this appointment?
At this point, I really hope to continue to champion that social determinants lens and also make sure that DSAS continues to be responsive to older adults in the community as well as those with disabilities, that we don't forget about those folks.
Good answer. All right, if there's no other questions, we would also now like to bring up Heidi Lum. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm very happy. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And my name is Heidi Lum. I am an immigrant from Hong Kong. I was born and raised in Hong Kong. So I came to the United States about 20 years ago, and I graduated in Ohio State University. And I joined Asian Services in Action about 14 years ago. the vision from Asia is empower and for the immigration population and refugee population. Since 2008, we are start serving the first population of refugee from Asia, South Asia. So we see a lot of needs from the community. So during the 14 years, our department has been implementing a different program to helping the community, older adults, and disability. That's including benefits access, workforce development, housing counseling, retirement planning, food pantry program, lucky senior program, including congregate meal and socialization, tax preparation. We also have a farmers market, volunteer program, and micro enterprise to helping the community. And also, hopefully, my expertise will able to serve the senior serve the older adults. And personally, I speak 3 different languages. So a lot of senior in Cuyahoga County, they need a voice to represent them to speak on their behalf.
Wonderful. Thank you and welcome. Do we have questions for our guest today? Councilman Miller.
Madam Chair, Ms. Lund, I would like to just thank you for your service and your willingness to help our community. And the world is just becoming such a more diverse place. And I just want to take this opportunity to say that that I've been watching the commercials on the U.S. Senate race, and candidates from both political parties are putting out this stuff about we got to stand up to China and China this and that and so on and so forth, and I think it's time that we all got to realize that that China has a population of 1.4 billion people. It's something like 20% of all the people on the planet, and that China is not going anywhere, and they're going to be an important force in the world, and that it's important for us and them to figure out how to work together and help make the planet a better place for everybody, and that we just gotta say that the planet is big enough for both of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, Ms. Lum, given your very varied background and ability to reach out to those that are perhaps a little more difficult than most, what do you hope to accomplish with this new appointment to the advisory board?
So I would say that for most of the Asian population, they are senior and multiple generations living all together. So hopefully we're able to provide more resources, helping the caregiver, helping the senior to make their life a little better.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here today. All right, we have 2 that will be represented by Ms. Tracy Mason. Thank you. Emily Lungard and Cheryl Bradis could not be with us today, but you are here to represent them. So please give us a little background.
Good morning, Madam President, Chairperson, as well as council members. Before I give some information about Emily Lungard and Cheryl Bradis, I just want to say that we worked very closely with our community partners to identify individuals to serve on our advisory board. We are actively engaged in that process to recruit subject matter experts to not only shape our existing programs and services, but also to help us focus on our strategic plan priorities around social determinants of health, particularly housing, food insecurity, transportation, behavioral health, and social connection. So you will see the individuals that are presenting to you today are subject matter experts in some of those areas.
Thank you for that.
And so Emily Lungard, who is out of the country, is on vacation, is why she is not able to be here today. I met Emily years ago as a colleague and working in county government. She is now the senior program director with Enterprise Community Partners. In her role, she works with multiple departments to create and preserve safe, decent, and affordable housing and thriving communities. She has over 15 years of experience and expertise in policy, advocacy, communication, and program administration, as housing being one of our top priorities. And also, she will serve on our advocacy committee. We are thrilled to have someone of her caliber and expertise to join us.
Thank you for that. Any questions for Tracy on Emily Lungard?
Madam Chair, to Ms. Mason, I just want to take this opportunity. I know that you've announced that you're moving on, and wanted to just thank you for your capable service and very high level of dedication and advocacy for serving the senior population in Cuyahoga County, and say that you will be missed. And regarding Emily, I just want to mention that that way back in the day, she got her start working for me as a legislative intern in the state legislature, and I could see at that time that she is a person of many talents, and from that point she has gone a very long way. So I think she's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Miller. I am humbled and deeply appreciative to have the opportunity to serve seniors and adults with disabilities, and we work really hard to achieve our mission at DSAS.
And I would also like to second that. You have been an asset to the county, and we will be missed, but I know that in your new role, you will do very well. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
All right, Cheryl Bradis, can you please give us some background?
Yes, and Cheryl Bradis cannot be here today because she is on medical leave, and I have had the privilege to work very closely with her over the last few years, several years actually. Cheryl Bradis is a geriatric clinical nurse with the Metro Health Hospital System. She is delighted to return to help us with the work that we're doing around older adults and adults with disabilities. Cheryl also serves as our chairperson for our Education, Resource, and Development Committee, which leads our Aging and Disability conference that we hold every year.
Thank you. Any questions for Cheryl Bradis? Or Tracy to mention? All right. Well, it looks like we are in support. Thank you for bringing these two members to our attention, for one for appointment and the other for reappointment. Yes. And we appreciate you being here. Thank you. All right, we have one last but not least to serve on the Cuyahoga County Advisory Board on Senior and Adult Services, and that would be Ashley Morrissey. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you to all for having me here today. My name is Ashley Morrissey. I am a clinical social worker at the Northeast Ohio VA Medical Center. It's a mouthful, also known as the Cleveland VA. In my role there, I am currently a caregiver support coordinator, also working as our dementia care coordinator in the past, and in the homeless program as well. So various areas within the hospital, and with it being a healthcare system, our veterans are very vast in the care that they receive. So I think what really drew me to this board was obviously a coworker recommending me and saying how wonderful it was, and then me being very, very humbled and fortunate to have served one term already, seeing how wonderful this board is and all those who serve on it. So I think what is very important to me and a calling to me is not only our aging population, but those with disabilities, and how our veterans within this community, I mean, obviously Northeast Ohio, but really here in Cuyahoga County, how they are able to live and thrive in the community, even outside of the care and the scope of the VA. So how can we collaborate with agencies and organizations to help keep them in their homes, keep them safe? Because unfortunately, our services can only go so far, and we do really rely on kind of keeping them in civilian life. So that's been a wonderful experience in collaboration with community organizations on the board. I've been learning more about it. And, I'm not originally from Northeast Ohio, but this has been a wonderful addition to my life, and kind of have grounded myself and my family here and live in Cleveland and West Park. So very fortunate to be here today.
Great. Well, thank you. And thank you for your willingness to be reappointed. Any questions for our guest? All right. Given what you've just gave us as part of your background, is there anything particular now that you're in the role and going to be reappointed that you would like to further enhance or perhaps start something new? What are your thoughts on your reappointment?
I think, since my appointment, we've had about 65% of it during a pandemic. So that's definitely changed some things. So a lot of things have changed and evolved, and I like to kind of see where those continue to go. I do believe that full trust in DSAS and what the county can do to help support this different new normal, or however we're going to perceive it to be. So helping support them in these changes that are kind of needed at this point of how can we evolve to keep them in their homes and safe, and how can we do things virtually and still meet their needs. I think the DSAS has done a wonderful job in doing that over the past few years during this pandemic, and how that will continue to kind of be there, and how can we bring more now with the new appointees, a new lens to the board.
Very good. Good answer. And I agree. We are all going through a transition right now, and you are no different. So thank you for recognizing that. Any other questions? All right. This was also asked that we have second reading adoption. So I will make a motion to move this item to appoint to the Cuyahoga County Advisory Board and Senior Adult Services, Mr. Douglas Bennett, Chris Hall, Jennifer Kahns, Heidi Lum, and Emily Lungard. And I will also ask for reappointment of Cheryl Broadus, and Ashley Morrissey to the full body of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other conversation? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none. Congratulations to all of you for your service on the Advisory Board and Senior and Adult Services. We are very, very appreciative. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2022-0071, confirming the county executive's appointment of Janice Zeigel to serve on the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging Board of Trustees for the term January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2024.
Janet Zeibel, would you please come forward?
Madam Chair, do you?
Yes, and please, Director Pomeranz, as she's coming forward, would you please give us some background?
Thank you. Janet Zeigel will be filling a 3-year term beginning 1/1/2022 and expiring 12/31/2024. This is filling a vacancy that hasn't been previously filled. She resides in Seven Hills, which is Cuyahoga County. The Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging is a state-designated funding, planning, and coordinating authority for home and community-based services and supports for older adults and individuals with disabilities. This organization serves Planning and Service Area 10A, which includes the counties of Cuyahoga, Geauga, Lake, Lorraine, and Medina. The board consists of 23 members, 4 appointed by the Cuyahoga County Executive, 1 each appointed by the counties of Geauga, Lake, Lorraine, and Medina, 2 ex-official members, and 13 at-large members appointed by the trustees.
Thank you for that, and welcome, Janet Zeigel. Did I pronounce that correctly?
It's Zeigel, but
Zeigel.
it's fine.
Okay. Please give us a little background of yourself.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of council. Nice to see many of you again. I recently retired in December as the Executive Director of Senior Transportation Connection. And in that role, I was here before you to ask for your support to grow that organization. I'm here to thank you for growing that organization. And when I left, it was in, and it is in very good hands, in a very stable financial situation, and continues to expand transportation for older adults in Cuyahoga County. My career has been 40 years in aging-related roles, which included working in the City of Lakewood, Department of Older Adults. Also, way back when, right out of college, I did work for the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging as a planning specialist. I also worked for a number of years at Cuyahoga Community College and was pleased to sit in the audience and hear about the appointments to the trustees to that wonderful organization. I grew up in Slavic Village. I lived 30 years in the wonderful community of Old Brooklyn in the city of Cleveland, and am a proud 3-year resident of Seven Hills. Since my retirement, I've taken on a few important things. First and foremost is caring for my 95-and-a-half-year-old mother. She would say that, which is a privilege. And some days are really challenging. So I feel very fortunate to have direct experience in managing a number of issues related to her care and well-being. I also volunteer on Wednesdays and deliver meals to homebound seniors in the city of Maple Heights. An extremely rewarding experience, and people's concerns are everything from when is my grass going to get green to how do I catch the groundhog that's in my backyard. And most recently, they started calling me Hun, so I know that I've arrived as a volunteer in the city of Maple Heights. I also volunteer for an organization in Slavic Village called Neighborhood Pets. And that is to manage my commitment to pet ownership and really loving animals. That organization is very new to me and interesting in that their work is about working with people and people who need extra support to keep their pets well and be good pet owners in the city of Cleveland and the city of East Cleveland. I very much look forward to working with the Western Reserve Area Agency in focusing on collaboration and cooperation, which was extremely important in the work we did at Senior Transportation Connection, but also knowing that they have a 5-county imprint. And the role that Cuyahoga County plays in that imprint is significant because of the older adult population in our county, but also how well we work with the surrounding 5 counties. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Well, thank you. What a wonderful background you have. Any questions for our guest here today? It's rather amazing all that you have done in your life and you continue to do. Is there anything that you would like to improve upon now, given this appointment to the Western Reserve Area Agency? Is there anything that you haven't done or haven't seen that said, I would really like to accomplish that? Anything?
I would always focus, and so many things were mentioned this morning, but transportation really as that enabler, and not just for older adults, but for all populations.
Yes.
To access services and have those services be affordable and accessible. Everything from public transit to, how mom gets to the doctor, how I get to the doctor. And I look forward to sharing that expertise, but also to continue to look creatively on how we solve those issues. The funding needle is not changing significantly, so how are we creative? How can we make it better and keep it affordable?
Thank you. Good comment. All right. Hearing no other questions, and this was also asked to be second reading adoption, so I will make the motion to move this item, the appointment of Janice Ziegel, to serve on the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging Board of Trustees, to the full body of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? None. This has been approved. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have gone through all of those appointments. It was rather challenging, but also very rewarding to see such great people out there willing to serve. So, Madam Clerk, we have one final item that was brought to our committee. It is an ordinance, so please read it into the record.
Ordinance 2022-0001, making confirmable by council the appointments of the Directors of Child Support Services, Children and Family Services, Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, the Family and Children First Council, the Fatherhood Initiative, Invest in Children, the Office of Homeless Services, the Office of Reentry, and Senior and Adult Services.
Thank you. We do have a proposed substitute. May I have a motion to approve the proposed substitute?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of accepting the proposed substitute, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing any nays? None? Thank you very much. The proposed substitute has been adopted. We see Brendan Doyle to give us an overview of this ordinance. Please proceed.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, committee members, Brendan Doyle, council staff. Committee members, the impetus behind this legislation really is a recognition of the critical importance of these director positions within county government, really a recognition of the core mission of county government and how important these positions are within that system. The proposed substitute that you have before you today reflects, after a review, a determination that some of these directors or managers of these agencies are in fact classified, and obviously certain requirements come along with that designation. And so we're moving forward with, or recommending moving forward with the confirmation of the 3 directors who are unclassified within county government. Those would be the directors of Children and Family Services, Jobs and Family Services, and Senior and Adult Services. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it. Do we have questions for Mr. Doyle?
Go ahead, Sweeney.
Go ahead, Councilman Sweeney. Did you have a question?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Hello, Esquire. Just when I first saw this, I just saw this as an opportunity to take a little bit of direct appointment authority away from the executive. And then I looked at the charter, and there's about 7 or 8 that are listed very specifically in the charter that need appointment by council. Can you tell me a little bit why these were chosen through the chair?
Why they were chosen to be, that they should be confirmed by the council?
Yeah.
Again, I think it's a reflection of these positions' critical importance within county government. I think that when you look at specifically, even if it's really, if we just call them the big 3, Children and Family Services, Jobs and Family Services, and Senior and Adult Services, the budgets that these departments have, the number of employees that these departments have, and really their mission is really the core mission of county government. And the thought was that these individuals who would be leading these agencies should be considered by the legislative branch of government because they are such critically important positions that play such an important role in county government.
Yeah, and through the chair, this is just thoughts that I had when I first initially read it. And if I continue briefly, Madam Chairwoman?
Go right ahead.
So when the charter was made or created, these weren't part of it. And then when they had the first charter review, they didn't catch it. And then the third charter review, or the second charter review, they didn't catch it again. And what I've learned through talking to some of the staff, if it's created by the council, we have the authority to vote legislatively to have us confirm them. Is that something?
If it's not spoken to in the charter, it is something that the council can make a determination about on its own. That's correct.
Yeah. Did the council create these departments through the chair?
No, it did not.
It was part of the charter?
I think it was part of the, certainly Health and Human Services, and I believe these agencies are a part of the original charter.
Yeah, and then through the chair, I'm just trying to get
Sure.
a fuller understanding of it. And from my perspective, initially when I read it to where I'm at right now, doing my due diligence, I just wanted to ask these questions. So thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. And,
Go ahead, Jim.
you know, in comment to that, it seems to me that these are three large sectors of what we do here. And Children and Family Services, Job and Family Services, and Senior and Adult Services, I would think it would be appropriate for us to be able to confirm those important positions as we interact with them all the time. We just saw many appointments here today that we are involved in. So that's how I viewed this when I first read. I was surprised, actually, that they were never part of confirmation, that this is something that I think we should be a part of. But
And the council does have that discretion to make these positions confirmable.
good, thank you for that.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Councilman Miller.
My suspicion is that the reason why these were not included in confirmation previously is that in a sense they're second-level positions in the sense that the Director of Health and Human Services is above them, and they're on the second line of the org chart, and generally the confirmation is limited to those on the top level of the org chart. However, I believe that because of the very large size and scope and importance of these agencies and how critical they are to county government, that this legislation is appropriate, and I would like to ask that my name be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Councilwoman.
So when thinking about this, I am the Health and Human Services Chair, and looking at and working with each of the directors and seeing the impacts that they have on, my passion is the people. So the impacts, the daily impacts that they have on their lives and the decisions that they make. I'm sure many of my colleagues have received, phone calls of this and that, and, had to reach out to a director and ask, well, why didn't this person get a resource or whatever? And so they hold a lot of power in their hands in terms of making decisions, of policy that impacts contracts. And so I thought that Cuyahoga County needed to share that and make that open and transparent. That's what this government is about. I have a great relationship with David Merriman, but it's large. It's large for me. I know it's large for him. And so if we could give it just a little bit more openness and transparency, I would appreciate my colleagues' support. And it's not for me, it's for the people to actually see and come before them who is serving them, who is that face behind that name. All they see is David Merriman, and they need to see more. So.
Thank you for that. We appreciate understanding the background of this legislation. Mr. Boyle, did you have something?
I didn't want to belabor it, but Madam Chair, if I can turn to Councilman Sweeney's commentary, and I think it's an important question. Digging into the background of some of the departments, when the new county government kind of moved along, there were newly created departments, and so the county charter, specifically in section 3.09, subsection 2, grants to the county council the power to establish departments under the supervision of the county executive. And so, for example, during the time of this new government, the county council has created the Department of Sustainability, the Consumer Affairs, the Communications Departments, the Regional Collaboration Department. All of those entities exist not in the charter, but rather in council-created legislation. And also, I would turn your attention to the bifurcation, the splitting of what was known as OPD, and I'm sorry, probably Jim Boyle on behalf of council staff, I apologize. OPD, to split that, council has the authority and obligation, if that is something that is to occur, that needs to happen through legislation, through the council, through the council process. But your comment, of course, Councilman Sweeney, is of course correct, that the HHS, these three departments, while they existed prior to to the advent of this new government, their position was not specifically articulated within the county charter.
Thank you for
Madam
that.
Chairwoman. Just on one point,
Go right ahead.
this is not retroactive. The ones that are currently there, do they need to be confirmed by council, or is it for future, future?
Well,
folks
there's
that might
language
be-
in the legislation that provides discretion to the council president, if he should choose, within 60 days, if he wants to make those individuals who are already in those positions subject to confirmation.
Yeah,
So there is
through the-
language in that legislation that
Yeah,
sets
through the
forth.
chair, I read it, and I was just wanted to get a confirmation at the dais.
Yeah, your
on
interpretation
YouTube.
is correct.
Through the chair to Councilman Sweeney, when it was first thought, that was a very big consideration of mine, that we have so many directors and, they're grandfathered in, they've been doing, a great job. Why would we put them through this? So that was never one of the initial thoughts. The initial thought, really to get this legislation passed, was looked at, we do have new administration coming in,
Yeah.
and so we wanted to be able to move forward with that. But people are leaving, so it looks like we'll have some confirmation hearings. But at first, when it was first initiated, positions were filled.
And thank you for the explanation. I'm cool with the legislation.
I see we have Director Merriman. Do you have any comment on this, Director? Does it impact you at all? Is it something you support? If you, a little hard to hide in the back now with everyone gone. Welcome. Please state your name.
Thank you. David Merriman, Director of Health and Human Services. I can't comment on the revised language. I haven't seen it. I heard a little bit about the overview here. And I had a chance to quickly see what I think Jim Boyle had during the meeting. But, I think clearly coming into this job, I understood that I would be confirmed. I understood that was a component of the position. I think as we move forward, if this council does in fact, or I guess I should say, if this committee does in fact support the revised version, if council does adopt it, then I think that becomes an expectation of any person that applies for those jobs moving forward. I think the revision taking out the civil service positions is I understand that. I understand why that decision was made based upon the staff members' discussion. And then, I don't know that I could say much more about what impact it will have on the existing staff until we kind of see what council decides in terms of that 60-day window.
Okay. So you have no objection or any downside to, at least at this point in the process of?
Yeah, I don't think I'm in a position to object. Again, I think that the language was just presented today. I will say personally, when I applied for this job, I understood that I would have to be confirmed, and I think that's a decision every single person has to make. They have to decide whether or not that's something they want to do and when they go through that process. Frankly, you're a bunch of good people that generally take your jobs very seriously. Even though I may agree or disagree at times, I understand your position. Others may not be as interested in that, but I don't know. I think we will see.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, and, we respect your opinion and just wanted to give you a chance to comment.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Merriman? Good. I know that this is something you would like to see move through the process. Does the committee feel that we need to hold this over for another committee to further discuss, especially given it's a proposed substitute, or do you feel that you have learned enough and that you support this legislation?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I think the concept is straightforward, and the substitute is in the line of narrowing rather than expanding the scope of what was originally proposed, and I would be ready to move it forward. But being an ordinance that has some significant effect, I would recommend that it be for second reading only, and so that it could sit for a meeting, and if anything arises, it can be dealt with. But I would be ready to vote for it to move out today.
I just want to let you know I'm supporting the sponsor, so I'm good with that.
Gallagher, good? All right, well, that
Well,
sounds,
I did want to speak on that. Kind of my baby, would love to see it moved on, but I have been a proponent since the beginning of time. If there was ordinance or even anything in health and human services, it deserves its due diligence of 3 readings. And I know William Tarter is not here today, and if I push this on, he'd be like, what? So definitely, I think it should go its full 3 readings. If there's anything else anyone wants to come up, any directors that want to speak to it that it affects, to give them the opportunity to do that.
all right. Well, I think I've heard then from all of us, and I agree. This is, I believe, good legislation. So I will make a motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading as
Second.
amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor of this legislation, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing any opposed? Hearing none. This has been adopted. Congratulations. For second reading, yes, to be heard and put on the next council agenda. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I would like to add my name to this also. All right, is there any miscellaneous business? Looks like we've been here for quite a while. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.